on the Ravi Nadar show. Today we have an amazing guest who left her high paying corporate job at the peak of the career. After realizing her passion for exploring and developing human potential to become a full time career growth mentor and founded Career Fit Varsity. Career Fit Varsity movement encourages engineers to be in the career which is aligned with their values, personality, and talent. She is highly dedicated towards her mission of helping 1 million mid career engineer professionals to transform their career by accelerating growth and to live a purposeful and productive life. So let me welcome none other than author, mid-career possibilitarian coach, none other than Megha Jawale. Megha, how are you doing?
Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ravi, for inviting me on your talk show. I'm very, blessed to have this opportunity.
Same here, Megha. Good to see you after a long time. So first of all, let give us a small, brief introduction about the journey of who you were before to who you are right now as a mid-career possibilitarian coach.
Okay, so, if I have to talk recently, who I was before 2 years, so I was an engineer working
Mhm.
into purely technical job role. I used
Mhm.
to design, analyze industrial structures into power plants, oil and gas industry sector. So that was my job basically, to design the structures, to check the drawings, and
Mhm.
to deliver the projects. That was my job role. So
Okay.
that is like a recent thing that I
Mhm.
was before 2 years.
Mhm.
And before that, yes, I was like always inclined towards engineering earlier. If you talk about early stage of my career, that times I was always an engineering mind, logical person, logically driven, head driven person.
Mhm.
Those things used to attract me. And entire my career span, if you see, I have spent almost 15 years into this kind of career. Okay, so this is my
Okay.
professional side.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. So, how did this all started? Like working from the engineering background and then coming as an entrepreneur, and that to woman entrepreneur. How this journey has actually started? Like what got into you? Like what was that thing which actually clicked you? No, this is not for me. I have some different calling, or I have to do something different.
Hmm. A good question. So, like to be very honest, I never thought that I would become an entrepreneur. That was not
Mhm.
like my dream or not my goal, because
Mhm.
I was doing quite well in my jobs. As I mentioned,
Mhm.
in my corporate jobs, I was working with good companies, MNCs, was getting good exposure also. And for some time, I was happy in my career. Initial days, I
Mhm.
always used to see that how I can, grow in my career, how I can get good salary hikes, how I can switch the companies and get more exposure. I should be able to work on international projects. That I used to always think about.
Mhm.
And there was phase in my career in 2018. That time, there was a time where this company where I was working, they
Mhm.
started laying off. And
Oh.
the situation was something like that every single day. Many of us who were my colleagues at that time, many of us used to go to office thinking that maybe today we will receive the like notice kind of thing, and maybe we'll have to leave the job. So
Mhm.
I was also one of them. And that day came for me as well. So typically, the company gave two options to the employee, all the employees or few selected employees. First option was you can leave the company, you can resign and leave the company. And
Mhm.
second option was they can join their other division, other related business units. But for that, they were asking for some reduction in the salary, and they gave me that option also. And I was like, no, I'm not going to accept any salary reduction, because if we have to accept salary reduction of say 30% or 25%, we have to go back 2 years or maybe 3 years in some cases.
Correct.
And I was very reluctant for that. Then that was the period even my husband was saying that, why don't you quit this job and why don't you start something on your own. And I was like, I cannot become an entrepreneur. So you might say that that was my limiting belief. I was like, no, no, I will maybe find another job, but
Mhm.
maybe entrepreneurship is not for me. That's what I was believing. But then somehow I was like very much convinced on my abilities, my skills, and I decided, okay, I will go ahead with the resignation option, and I went ahead. But
Mhm.
fortunately, it happened that after a few days, company's director called me and they asked me that, Megha, there is some new kind of responsibility. So would you
Mhm.
like to take this up? And there
Mhm.
won't be any reduction in your salary, nothing, but you just let us know that if you are ready, then we will give that to you. After my
Mhm.
resignation, they called me and I happily accepted. Okay. So that's how again I stayed in the same job, same industry, but yes, I got some new roles to explore. And but during that time, I realized one thing. I used to communicate, interact with many people who were around me, many
Mhm.
mid-career people, specifically very good technical people, engineers, that
Mhm.
they were very scared, they were very fearful, because many of them were single earning members of their family, and they have to take care of two generations, their kids
Mhm.
education, their elderly parents, and all those
Parents.
things. So I could interact with them, and somehow I used to like that, to motivate them, to inspire them, to give them some clarity what exactly they should do in their mid career, so that they would, some new opportunities will open up for them. And I started liking it. And people also used to resonate with me, and they used to come to me, and they used to share this career related challenges with me. So
Mhm.
one thing I learned, that maybe apart from this technical, this is something was I really enjoying. And during that entire period, I was also working on myself, how I can change my industry, so that I will move to some other industry which is growing, which is a cash rich sector. And
Mhm.
after almost 1 year, I could get a job with good hike in that crisis situation, and I could get into a very good company, which was MNC again. And it was a cash rich sector. And
Mhm.
I worked there almost for 1.5 year.
Okay.
And there were a lot of opportunities for me to grow as in a corporate ladder, because that company was also promoting women leaders in technical job roles specifically, and they were
Mhm.
looking forward to me, that I will also move in corporate ladder very soon. But somehow I realized after 1.5 years that that earlier incidents, those happened, those were stuck in my mind and heart. And I was somewhere like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not here only to do this technical job. Maybe I want to do something else. And I need to find out, what is the purpose, and all those things, all those questions started coming to my mind. And then during that time, my like my schedule was very hectic. I was not getting time, and also my husband also suggested that
And
why don't you
was this when you were at the peak point of your career?
Yes, yes. It
Oh.
was a peak point of my career. Like everything was going good. As I mentioned, I already got the hike in this new company. I
Mhm.
was, assigned new projects, new responsibilities. I was actually exploring this new industry, and I can see a lot of opportunities there for me to grow, because the industry was really doing very well, and there was no cash crunch as such that was there in my earlier company and industry. So as such, there were a lot of opportunities for me to grow. But there was a point wherein I was extremely busy in my career, and I felt that somewhere I need to take a break, and I should think what exactly I want to do in my life. And
Mhm.
during that period, my husband also suggested that, why don't you take a break, maybe sabbatical leave for some days. And because all throughout my career of say 15 years, I never took a break except my maternity leaves. And those leaves are, of course, those are very like strenuous, you have other things to do. But apart from that, I continuously worked till, starting from the time when I passed out from the college, and there was no break as such, and I was always running in this rat race. So maybe I also felt that, maybe let me take some break and think, analyze what exactly I want to do. And then I went for this sabbatical leave. I asked my boss. Fortunately, he was very good and he understood my situation. He said, okay, no problem, we will manage your projects, you can take this leave. That was, of course, without pay, but he allowed me to take the leave. And during that time, for the first time,
Mhm.
I spent very, good quality time with me. and I realized, what exactly I want to do. And I started reading a lot of books, self-development books. Seven
Mhm.
Habits of Highly Effective People was the first book that I started with. And then I also joined some personal transformation programs, Robin Sharma's personal transformation courses online.
Mhm.
All those things started. And then during that 1 month period, I realized that maybe, I want to do something else apart from this technical engineering side of mine. Maybe my heart is somewhere else, my passion is somewhere else. And I thought, let me take some calculated risk. And then after that pandemic period started, I started working from home. I almost worked for 8 to 10 months. And then one day I decided, I have to take some risk and I have to quit my job, and then I have to full time explore what exactly I want to do. And
Mhm.
parallelly, as you know, that most of the engineers, when they are stuck in their career, in specifically mid career, they mostly go for executive MBAs, or they go for PMP or Scrum Master, Agile, this kind of certifications.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought executive MBA would be a good option for me,
Mhm.
because I was always inclined towards management. So I thought maybe doing executive MBA, I would get some more clarity what exactly I want to do. If I want to build a business, maybe what kind of business I want to build and all those things. So I took admission into executive MBA, and I took a calculated risk to quit my high paying job. And that was just in the middle of the pandemic. And many people told me that, Megha, what are you doing? You are actually quitting the job which is paying you good. You are working from home. So what is your problem? So I
Mhm.
said, no, no, I have to take this calculated risk. Otherwise, I will not push myself to explore what exactly I want to do in my life. And that happened in September 2020.
Okay.
I left my job, and eventually then I started like, this executive MBA was parallelly going on, and then again I was working towards my self development, all those things, reading books and all those things. And one day I stumbled upon one YouTube ad by Dev Goodby, okay,
Mhm.
passion planner mentor. And whatever he was sharing, that was quite resonating with me. And I thought, okay, whatever he's sharing, let me explore, let me attend his webinar. And I attended webinar, and then that entire concept of passion planner, that resonated with me, what I wanted to do. Then I thought maybe I would get some guidance from this person, and I went ahead with his mentorship. And then actually I realized that, I am passionate towards exploring human potential. I always
Okay.
want to help people to grow to the next level, whether it is in career, whether it is in business, whether it is in personal life. But I am really, really passionate about exploring and developing human potential. And then I systematically I learned how to build business and everything. And now I think rest is the history. So since 1.5 years, I would say, I am, running my own thing. Okay, I would not say that, I have become an entrepreneur. Still I am more like a self-employed kind of thing, or maybe solopreneur. You can call it as solopreneur. I have not reached up to the entrepreneur level, but yes, I have started learning a lot of things related to entrepreneurship, and I'm enjoying it. So this is about, how I became a solopreneur.
Great, and especially like when you shared that when people were getting laid off, like especially during the lockdown, you took that leap of faith, not towards anyone else, but within yourself, and you took that leap of faith to invest your money in something else, and that
Yes,
risk actually paid off, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. So
That is
what
very
was the
important.
yes. And what is your like what was the biggest turning point, if I have to say, in your life which actually has shaped your life completely? So what would that be? From maybe childhood till now, like what was that biggest turning point in your life?
Okay, so are you saying good or bad? Like good
It
turning
can be
point or bad?
that would be a turning point in your life, like actually that has completely shaped you in a different way.
Okay, so one I just mentioned, whatever I shared, that was one of that, and there are like two more. So that was like in my childhood, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I am from a very middle class and orthodox kind of family. So in my
Mm-hmm.
family, I was having lot of restrictions, like whom should I talk, and I should not talk to boys or men outside the family. Then I
Mm-hmm.
what kind of clothes I should wear. So lot of restrictions were there. And as a since my childhood, I was always ambitious. I always wanted to build a high status career, and I had a different kind of dreams. I mean, of course, people used to figure out that whenever I used to speak, they used to say that, her thoughts are a little different. And people used to think like that. And but my surrounding was not very conducive to my ambitions and my aspirations. But I was very determined. So the more pressure I used to feel from surrounding, the more determination I used to get, and the more efforts I used to put on my work. So what happened was, when I was studying into say ninth and 10th standard, that time my father wanted me to continue with diploma. Okay, that time that fad was there that after 10 just get into diploma. And his purpose behind was that something different, that he wanted me to get married earlier. So maybe after finishing that 3 years diploma after 10th standard, that was maybe in his mind that time. But I was like, no, no, I want to study in the topmost college in Pune. And I was like, my college was also clear, my city was also very clear in front of me. But he was not very much okay with that, because I had to come from my place, which is like northern part of Maharashtra. From there to Pune, he was not very much ready to send me to city. But what happened was, I put a lot of efforts into my study, and I was always a promising student, always stood first in my class. And my school teachers, they used to believe that I will be doing something really good, though I was not always like behind ranks and all those things. But they really used to encourage me to do more and more in terms of my studies and academics. And it happened so that in 10th standard, when the result got declared, I was in the merit list. I got 11th rank in the Nasik board merit list in 10th standard. And that was a turning point. I mean, nobody in my family also imagined that I would get rank in the merit list. Then all this felicitation started. Lot of this journalists, they came to my place to take my interview. At that stage, maybe at that stage I was very small, not very mature also. But all these people started coming to my place, all relatives, surrounding people who were knowing my father, and that all they came to my place to congratulate me. All these journalists, they interviewed me, how did you study, what do you want to become, and all those kind of questions. So it was new for me. And I became a kind of celebrity at that level,
That
because
was the difference, yes.
yeah, I stood first in girls in that entire you can say district. So it was very a proud moment for me, and of course for my family. So that was a turning point. And that there my father also, he interacted with many people, and many people told him that, oh, why are you not sending her to Pune for engineering? If she wants to do career in engineering, why are you are stopping her? So he also realized that I have potential and I should also explore that. So he said, okay, you can do 11th 12th, and you can do engineering after that. So that's how, that was one of the turning point as I mentioned. But things were not so easy for me. He gave me the permission to do engineering from Pune, and with my marks, grades, etc., I could get into the same college, the top college in Pune, Government College of Engineering, Pune. And I started my education there. But again, the first year was little difficult for me, I would say, in terms of like mindset, because I was coming from a small town, and I was not very open. As I said, I had taken my education from girls' school, and in co-ed school also, I never interacted with any boys in my town. The college was in my town, so I always used to focus on my studies and those things. So coming from that mindset, that school of thought, again for initial few months or maybe first year, entire first year was little difficult for me. That was little challenging for me. And I realized one thing, that in that period, that your skills and marks are of no use actually. You should really develop your personality. You should really mingle with people. You should be outspoken, because I was very introvert. I was not very comfortable in expressing myself to people, because for one reason was my original nature, and another reason was my pressure. So both the things added, and I became like that. But after 1 year, it was a tough time. But I realized that I have to change myself. If I have to sustain in this kind of environment, I have to change myself. And then I started opening. Then again, first year was challenging in terms of my academics also. I could not score and all. I was not topper in any subject or any semester for first year. But second year onwards, I again geared up. I got like mingled with all that surrounding. Again, I started putting a lot of efforts in my studies, academics, and I started getting good grades. I always used to be in first 10 students of the class. So that was then in place. So I was thinking that everything is now fine. I have started learning the course which I wanted to learn, professional course, engineering course from topmost college. So I was actually dreaming my career aspirations. Okay, I would go to this company, that company, I would do MTech, I would do whatnot, because that was a very ambitious place, COEP.
Mhm.
And people were preparing for GRE, some people were preparing for CAT, some people like GATE. So all were very, very ambitious people. They were, planning to go abroad for their studies, and all these kind of people I am surrounded with. So of course, I will also have that inclination to go for higher studies. But all of a sudden, there again a twist or a turning point came in my life. As in, my father, he wanted me to get married earlier, in after
Oh,
third year itself. Okay,
okay.
so he was like, you get married first after third year, and then maybe you can continue your education after of 1 year. But it is very difficult to convince him, because he had some some astrological things in his mind. He studies astrology, and which I don't completely believe on. But he was like, as per astrology, this is the right time. Otherwise, there is, you have to wait
There
for
is
so.
no right time at all to get married then.
Exactly. Or maybe you have to wait. And during those days, or maybe still in town today also, a lot of people believe that girls should get married before the age of 24. That's the ideal age. And that too, my father wanted me to marry at the age of 20th. It was so early. But somehow what happened was, I couldn't convince him, though I told him I'm not ready for marriage, but he was not listening. So
Mhm.
I told him, okay, fine. You're saying you're not listening to me, but at least I have two conditions. I want someone who will be staying in Pune, and I
Mhm.
want to get married in the family where I would get support for my career growth. I mean, they
Okay.
should not have any objection if I'm taking education after my marriage, or I will be, doing job. So they should not take objection on my career aspiration. That two conditions I put in front of him, and he was very smart. He actually found such family, such person. But fortunately, my husband, I mean, he was not my husband that time, but this groom whom he searched that time, he completely denied that I cannot get married to someone who is studying engineering, and that too after third year. And he
Mhm.
told, no, no, let her complete her graduation. His family also supported, and they said the same thing, that they said, maybe we can do the engagement right now, but we will not like disturb her, interrupt her education in between. So my father had to agree then. So it was like in my favor. And then we got married immediately after my engineering education was over. And again, the struggle didn't stop there. So I got placement through campus, because as I said, the college was good.
Mhm.
My performance was very good as a student, and I got placement in Pune. And I joined that company, thinking that now my path is very clear. Now I can actually grow in my career very fast. And then within few months, I realized that I was like expecting a baby. I was
Mhm.
pregnant, and that was also tough decision, because I was just like 21, just completed.
Starting your
And
career like after
starting a career, that was training period for me. So but I took a decision that whatever it is, I am going to face it. I am not going to stop my career, but I am not also going to terminate this pregnancy. That I decided, and I thought maybe this is an opportunity for me to test my patience, my courage, my determination. And of course, my family supported me there, my husband also supported me. And then it was a period when I was baby. I mean, I was having my baby at the age of 22. Then I was also doing the job parallelly. And then when my son was almost 1 year old, again my earlier career aspirations of learning and doing post graduation started popping into my head. Okay, Megha, what's happened to that plan you wanted to do?
doing all the three to four things at the
Yes,
same time.
all the three to four things same time. So again, I started preparing for the examination and everything, and I got admission into my same college, COEP, again for MTech structures. So that time I wanted to resign actually, but my company said no, you can actually do part time job. because we don't
Oh.
want to lose you. So what
Mhm.
I used to do, first year, of course, I took complete leave because the it is like full time thing. But second year they said you can do part time. Then I used to be there in office till three o'clock, and after 3 o'clock I used to go to college. And again, when I come back home, I have my baby. So all three things are going parallelly: my job, my education, and plus my baby. I was mother also, and yes, of course, my grandmother-in-law, she supported me a lot during that period, and because of her only, actually, I could take this decision. Otherwise, it was very difficult for me to if she would not have been there with us. So uh, all three places I have to juggle, literally juggle. But
And it is not easy, especially like
yes,
because I can see, especially in India, like I can see like a lot of them, they say like I just can't go for work or something. That is just one single job. But over
yes,
here, you as a woman doing all the three things at the same, studying in the college, working, and at the same time taking care of a baby, and also top of that, like taking care of the house things like in-laws and everything. It's not
yes,
that easy. What would you
yes,
like to tell to the people, especially who are actually getting, who are stuck in this kind of a situation where they are still thinking about should I complete my education and should I, or I should not do at all, or let it be like whatever education I have done or invested
mhm.
in myself, let it be all God, can be like that, or maybe should they come out of, what would you like to tell to these kind of people,
Yeah.
especially?
So I would like to tell people, if you're really determined about
Mhm.
achieving something, things will fall in place for you. And that's what I completely believe. I always believe that, when you desire something from bottom of your heart and you put efforts in that direction, then you will see that things will fall in that direction. And that's how initially, of course, initially it will look very difficult. You will maybe think that it is impossible, but don't give up. Don't give up and just go ahead, and you will see eventually the things will change, which I also could see. And those time was not like that. Today, I have liberty. I can have 2 3 maids. Those are helping me with cooking and lot of other house chores. But I tell you, that time that was not a situation. I mean, I used to cook also. I used to
You're
do
not
some of the
easy at
chores
all, right?
also. Yeah. So all these things, I mean, today when I look back and I imagine, actually I used to do everything at that time. So it's not like today's I have liberty, because that time salaries were also very low. And
Mhm.
so if you have determination and if you have that strong desire, your willpower is your biggest weapon, I would say. That is your brahmastra. Okay.
Mhm.
So that you should use that brahmastra. Make your willpower so strong that you will reach there and you will get it.
Absolutely. And what were your top three limiting beliefs before you joining in the journey? Often I would say entrepreneur journey, like from
Hmm.
working at the peak level at the career point and then taking that decision. What was that top two or three limiting belief actually was stopping you, but still you did not listen to that and you actually like took a leap of faith and you joined the journey of entrepreneur. What was that?
Okay, so I think first limiting belief I already spoke about it, and that was I cannot become an entrepreneur. Okay, and the reason also I would like to mention here is, see, I was so much logically driven that I always looked into option. What is the option for me? So whenever I used to think, even my husband, whenever used to say, no, no, why don't you quit the job and start something on your own? So I always used to have, what I will start then, because I'm into technical things. So maybe I will start the consulting kind of business, consultation into this technical engineering skills that I'm having. And I was not really interested to start that. Okay. And because of that, I was having this limiting belief that I cannot become entrepreneur, because job chhod ke if I have to start something, so that is this engineering consultancy, which I don't want to do. So that was limiting belief. Second limiting belief I would say that I was having was that, I cannot sell something to people,
Mhm.
because if you see my experience, it was always core technical experience. I
Mhm.
never was involved into marketing job roles or maybe sales kind of job roles. And I always hesitate to sell something, to ask money to people, or maybe, to negotiate. Maybe I was so bad in negotiation. I mean, personal life also. My
Mhm.
husband is from sales and marketing background, so whenever we have to negotiate, I was like, you do it. I have just selected this thing because I cannot negotiate. So I was like that, not aware about all these important skills, which is very very must today, even for engineers who are into technical job role. So because I was not having this skill, I was not having this exposure, my
Mhm.
limiting belief that was that I cannot sell. I cannot sell. This was my limiting belief. And maybe because of that also I was stopping myself to go into this kind of role where I have to ask money from people. That was second. And third thing is also very like interesting, that I always used to think that social media is not for me.
Hmm.
And if you ask me, 1.5 years back, I was not having Facebook account. I mean, many friends told me, "You're not on Facebook. You're not on Facebook." I said, I don't really like these things. I don't like to showcase my life on Facebook. Don't want to share pictures and all, because I was not having purpose. To be very frank, today I have a purpose to be on social media. Earlier, I was only on LinkedIn with only hundreds of connection, because whenever I want to search for a job, that platform helps me to do that. But I never thought that I would be active on social media. I would increase my visibility on social media. I will be like talking in this kind of talk shows. So that was my limiting belief earlier, which got shattered after I started my passionpreneur journey.
Great, great. Now, what is this mid-career possibilitarian is all about?
Okay. Okay, so what happened was, when I started my entrepreneurship journey, or a solopreneur journey, I would say, I started coaching mid-career people because I could resonate with them more. As I have been in that situation, I have already did some work on myself. I come out of that stagnant situation, and then now I become very confident that I can help these people. So one thing I realized, that whenever specifically mid-career engineers, whenever they are stagnant in their job roles or in their industry or in their companies, what they look for is option. And where these options come from is from our conventional wisdom, our qualifications, right?
Mhm.
Meaning, when I was looking for various options for me, I was stuck. As I mentioned, I got admission into executive MBA. So a lot of people actually think in the same way. I am engineer into now in this job role. Now I want to upgrade my career. So what is the option for me? Either I can go to executive MBA, either I can go to PMP, either I can go to some other certification, or this kind of things. And
Mhm.
that is the biggest, I would say biggest uh, limits that limit that they will be putting on themselves. Because if we are open to see the possibilities which are beyond the obvious, okay, and
Mhm.
these obvious things, of course, that will come from your conventional wisdom. So if you can see these possibilities beyond the obvious, then a whole new world of possibilities will open up for you. And if you actually consistently explore it, all these possibilities, you can turn these possibilities into great opportunities, which I did for myself. And now I want to help these people. And that's why, I position myself as mid-career possibilitarian coach. So what exactly this word possibilitarian is all about? So no matter, how much dicey, dark the situation is around you, but still you should be ready. You should have that optimistic, positive attitude towards life to see the possibilities beyond obvious. And first of all, you have to believe that it is possible. It is
Mhm.
possible. You have to believe that it is possible for you. You should be ready to do the hard work. You should be ready to pay the price. You should be ready to network with right people, mastermind with people, and you should be ready to play the game for longer time. Unless you get it, you should be level up your game. So that is all about possibility in ease. That is
Okay.
this kind of approach.
Yeah. So glad you were able to open the gate for a lot of engineers, especially like who are stuck into their mid-career. So is that means like also not only if they have to go to the next step towards their career towards engineering, but
Mhm.
also what if that engineer is good with working whatever he's doing, or maybe working into a particular job. What if he has some of the interest in something else? So is that also a possible, that is also something which you help them to find out, like that their inner calling without leaving that particular job? But
Hmm.
yes, he can also pursue that same thing by putting a lot of determination and work hard towards that, and at the same time he can live that enjoyment of fulfilled life.
Yes, of course. So initially, when I started my journey, I started helping professionals to grow in their career. And
Okay.
eventually, I've started interacting with people, and I've interacted almost, more than 100 professional, mid-career professionals. I realized one thing,
Mhm.
that climbing corporate ladder is not for everyone. Okay, not
Correct.
everyone, it's not about capability, okay, it's not about skills, but it is
Mhm.
about your internal calling. Maybe you are capable, maybe you are skillful, maybe you can climb it, but that's not everyone wants to do in their life, right? So I
Absolutely.
realized this thing, that when we talk about possibilities, why we are limiting ourselves with this job and maybe corporate growth. It should be outside also, that is possible. In today's world, everything is possible. We are living in this golden digital age, where all the things are possible. And then I started helping some people, and some of my mentees, I would give example, because a lot of people nowadays, they market, a lot of coaches rather, they market using this strategy, that 2x your salary, 3x your salary. But actually, does that, is that possible for everyone? The answer is no. Okay. And
Correct.
forget about getting 2x and 3x salary. A lot of people are there in the job who are barely getting 4 to 5% yearly.
Mhm.
Okay. So why this is happening? Is the problem with those people? Is the problem with their skill? No. The problem is with their industry, because some industries are actually in the stagnation mode, and because their industry is not growing, they are not able to grow, even though they are putting a lot of hard work in their job. So for some people, this kind of things might not work, right? So they should think out of the box, ultimately, how they can grow their income. And that's how I got this idea, how they can start their side hustle while being in the job. Because, see, again, not everyone, as I said, not everyone can climb the corporate ladder. I mean, that's not what they want to do. Not even everyone wants to become entrepreneur, living behind the job, because it's risky, right? You cannot just leave the job, your monthly income, regular income, and you
Yes,
cannot
that
become
is correct.
entrepreneur just like that without
Mhm.
having no idea about it. So what could be the midway? And I found this midway wherein I can help a lot of people from my career coaching, mentoring programs. So what they did was, they actually started doing some side hustle along with their 9 to 5 job, and they
Mhm.
started earning additional income apart from their monthly salary, and they're happily doing it. So now, going ahead, if they really want to put more efforts into this side hustle, and want to take a decision whether they are okay to quit the job because the side hustle is paying them good, they can see good opportunities, they can take that decision at right point of time. But at
Mhm.
least now they have got this financial confidence, that apart from their job, they can earn from something else also. So that is something, is again a new possibility.
That's correct. Yeah, because some people love to work what they are doing in the corporate job, and everybody don't want to like they don't want to get into the top of that corporate ladder. Definitely. But what if like there is also some different possibilities? Like you said it very rightly, that they can enjoy doing in something else, and at the same time they can earn more than what they are earning right now in the job as well. It is possible.
Yes.
Right? And
And one more
it is
thing.
not only possible, like there are a lot of people are doing it actually.
Yes, yes. A lot of people are doing, and as you mentioned while introducing myself, that the moment that I have started Career Fit Varsity, it
Yeah.
is basically that believes on, you should be in the career which is aligned with your values, personality, and talent. Okay, so I
Mhm.
focus on that, which is not seen these days, because what usually people do is, they have herd kind of mentality. A lot of people are, they are doing certification, go to certification, and let me admit, I was also one of them. A lot of people were going for executive MBA. I thought, I would also go. But what is truly that you want for your life, that you should think, is it in line with your values? Is it aligned with your personality? Is it aligned with your talent that is coming to you naturally? If this alignment is not there, then maybe if you just run behind the shiny objects, maybe some other industry, maybe some other skill, maybe some other new certification program. But if it is not aligned with these three things that I just mentioned, again after some time you will start feeling, okay, what I'm doing. Maybe you might be getting money. Again, money is not the question for all the people. I have seen a lot of professionals who are earning well, but they are not getting the fulfillment. So here
Correct.
it is like income as well as the fulfillment. Both the
Fulfillment.
things are very, very important, especially in mid career.
So do you think is that the actual reason when people go through this crisis when they are not fulfilled with what they are doing,
Yes.
or maybe one of the reason?
Yeah. See, typically in our India, what happens is if you see the trend, your parents will choose the career for you. We don't
Correct.
have liberty to explore. And even if, I see a lot of people go to engineering just because their parents will say that, you have to do engineering or maybe doctor or maybe something else, right? So in the initial stage of our career, the
Hmm.
the stages, if you talk about the career development stages, in the first phase where we are into exploration mode, and then comes the establishment stage. So in the first stage of exploration, you will anyway grow, even if that career you are not liking. So by default, 90% people will grow. The career graph will be like the straight line, okay, inclining graph. So when we realize after the age of say 30 35, during 30 35 or maybe 35 onwards, for some people the mid career midlife crisis stuck early, for some people it is like after for 35 or maybe after 40. So
Yes.
that is the period when, that is the stage where we are not able to move, and then we start contemplating our entire life. Okay, maybe I would have gone in that direction, maybe I would have chosen that career path, maybe I would not have listened to my parent. So all these things, thoughts start coming to our mind, that maybe I am not doing what exactly I want to do in my life. And I would say, because of this reason, there is a statistic that says that after this mid career stage, only 5% people are able to grow exponentially. The way they were growing in the initial phase of their career, only 5% people grow like that. Then what happens with 95% people? Out of
Hmm.
95% people, some people remain at the same stage. Okay, they level up, they feel stagnant, they do not grow as such. And some people even decline their graph. Okay,
Hmm.
that's why this phase is very, very crucial, which many people do not understand. What they assume is, I have grown in initial phase of my career really well, so anyway I'm going to grow in my second phase also. But career mid career growth doesn't happen by fluke. It requires a catalyst, because it requires a specific mindset, it requires implementation of specific strategies, a specific action oriented plan. You have to really plan well in your mid career what exactly you want to do ahead, and which
Hmm.
most of the people do not do. And they realize after few years, they realize, okay, I am working in the same company for past 11 years, I am working in the same position, my salary is like increasing 3% 4% just like that.
Why is that, they think?
Why is that? Because they have not taken any proactive actions. They
Hmm.
have not changed their mindset, because they thought maybe it is going to happen just like that, as it happened in the initial stage. So that is the midlife crisis, as we call it as.
Yeah. So what would you like to tell to these people who are going through this phases, like how they can come out of? I think so. This you have also shared it in your recent book, right? So what?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So could you also talk about so that like it will actually help to the audiences, especially who are going through the these stages of life.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, yes, I have written in my book, Build the Most Exceptional You. It is mainly for people who are stuck in their job career. So it is a contemporary way to build a highly successful career, because in today's age, as I said, corporate growth could not be the only option in front of you. But of course, I am not demotivating people who want to grow in the corporate ladder. Of course, I share a lot of strategies with them as well, and which has also proven with some of my mentees. They also got good hikes in their career. As I said, if it is aligned with your values, personality, and talent, you please
You can do
explore
that.
that area. But be at your peak level. Utilize your fullest potential. If you think In corporate job, your fullest potential is utilized. Please continue and explore it. Nothing like that. You can be in secure job also, and you will be getting good salaries also, salary hikes also. But people who cannot do, again, as I said, another options are there. But in my book, principally, I have shared one framework there. Name of my framework is Science. So it is a seven-step framework. I will just quickly brief about it. So
Mhm.
first, this is an acronym basically, Science. So S stands for self-discovery. So whatever journey you want to start, whether it is entrepreneurship, whether it is side hustle, or whether your corporate career clarity, you have to start first self-discovery. Okay, because a lot of people do not, you know, go in their internal state of mind and do not try to understand what exactly they want. They keep on fooling themselves for years and years that I am happy, because
Mhm.
I mean internally maybe they are not fulfilled, or maybe they are just ignoring the situation. So it is really a time for you to go deep in your own thoughts. You have to spend some quality time with yourself, which I did, as I shared. And that time I got clarity that yes, it's not skill, but it's what I want to do with my life, right? So that is self discovery part. Another part like that is after self discovery is clarity. C stands for clarity. So clarity, again, it comes from what you're passionate about, what is your personality type, what
Mhm.
is your purpose of your profession or maybe career, right? And a lot of people, they have this misconception that when we talk about career, it is always corporate. But I think entrepreneurship is also a career. Solopreneur is also a career, because if you see, this sports player are there, actors are there, actresses are there. What is that? That is a career,
That
isn't
is
it?
also a career,
That is
yes.
also a career. So you should not think that when I talk about career, it's only corporate career, but there are multiple, aspects of your professional journey. So clarity is getting very, very crystal clarity about what exactly you want to do in your life. Zeroing in that particular goal of your professional journey. And in clarity, basically, what you have to do is you have to begin with the end in mind. You have to start what exactly I want to be at end of my life, what is going to give fulfillment to me at end of my career, at end of my professional journey. And from
Mhm.
there you have to begin, and then you will start getting more clarity. And of course it requires a lot of research, it requires a lot of trial and error, it requires a lot of brainstorming. It's not easy to get the clarity, but once you go into that mode of getting clarity, when you have burning desire to get clarity for your career, I think you can get it. Okay. Then third part of this framework is I, that stands for influence. And I have seen a lot of people in my career, specifically engineering sector, that good technical people, they are very good in terms of their work, but when it comes to influence, they are not able to influence people. They are not able to put their thoughts across. They have great ideas, but they are not able to share their ideas. Okay.
Actually, this is something which is very, very, very important, especially engineering people. They have a top 1% talent, and especially in India. Oh my God, very much talented. But when they are not able to communicate their ideas in front of some, maybe a leader or maybe any team, how it is going to help them? And definitely, like influence, like they should be able to learn that particular thing, how they can influence us. Continue.
Yes. And again, there are a lot of myths about influence. Some people think it is for extrovert, it is for a leader, it is for like outgoing personalities. So
Mhm.
it's nothing like that. In being in your own skin also, you can influence people, right? That is possible. And that's what, I want to promote this concept of influence that way, and which people are learning from me. So that influence is the third aspect of my framework. And then after that, it is expertise. So today if you see, when we are in the mid of gig economy, wherein maybe this full-time jobs will not be there for maybe this kind of opportunities will not be available after few years from now. So what will happen, lot of freelancing opportunities will be opening up. Maybe companies would want to give some project as a freelancing opportunity. So
Mhm.
whom do you think they would contact? People who are expert in their areas.
Absolutely.
They don't want general people. You should not be in the category who is jack of all but master of none. then you will not actually, you cannot even ask for more price, and you cannot even, your skills will not be in demand, to be like, be very specific in that area. So you need to work on one expertise, one expert area. You really should explore it, dig deeper. You should not be at the surface level. You should not be having surface level knowledge of your stream, but pick one particular niche in your domain and then be really very good at it. Be really very good expert, keep some of influence in that area, so that people would come to you for your advice. People would want to learn from you, and they will involve you in good complex projects, and in a way you will be able to earn more. That is like expertise. After expertise, another very important part of my framework is networking. And here again, many people who are in job, they do not realize importance of networking. People
Yes.
think networking is for MLM, networking is for business people, but many people do not understand, if they are not networking, what opportunities they are missing in their life. So
Mhm.
networking is a skill that they need to develop. And of course, as I said, we are fortunate today in to be in this digital golden age, where we have the platforms like LinkedIn, where we are connected with millions and billions of people across the world, across the globe, and we can connect to any person today. And if you are really, your networking skills are really good, you can approach to any expert of your industry. You can take feedback from that person, you can discuss with that person, you can ask for some good insights from that person. That is possible today. Okay, just at the click of the mouse, you have this liberty to explore all this knowledge and wisdom. After N, then comes C, that is career goals. So I think goals are very important. If you talk about success, that success is all about goals. People who have been very very successful, they have goals and they accomplish their goals. Otherwise, everybody has very fancy ideas, what they want to do. But if you don't have proper goals, short term goals, maybe you have yearly goals, then quarterly goals, and then monthly goals, and then weekly goals, and of course daily goals. So if you are not working on the goals, you will not see the things moving in your life. So if you don't have goals, you cannot grow. As simple as that. No goals, no growth. That's what I believe. And then after goals, we talked about self-discovery, we talked about clarity, we talked about influence, we talked about expertise, and then networking, and then career goals. If you have all these things, but if you don't have this seventh last thing, I think you will not be able to perform. And that last thing, that E stands for energy. So many professionals today, they are ignoring this part. Now energy is not just physical energy, but I believe that it is a combination of all energies, like physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, as well as spiritual energy. So if you really understand how to tap into all these energies, then I mean, you will be very very productive person in whatever you do. And you will be happy because you are not burnt out. You are like very energetic person. And only difference between people who can do and who cannot do is sometimes only energy. Not that they are not skillful, not that they don't know how to do it, but maybe energy could be the differentiating factor between these two people who like, whom we are saying one is successful, other person is not successful. So we should work on our energy. So that is about my science framework that I have elaborated with the help of a story of an engineer, mid-career stagnant engineer. So that is all about it.
So people who are listening and who you are going through a lot of challenges and you have stuck in your midlife career, okay, so this book is for you. Okay, so get in touch with Megha, and like you can buy this book. It is in Amazon, right? Amazon, Flipkart, or
Yes,
only
it is available on Amazon as well as Flipkart.
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and buy that book right now. Now let me ask you about the self development journey. Why do you think, like, especially in India now, mostly people are aware that there is something which is called as a self development journey also,
Hmm.
because people started thinking that once I completed my graduate or studies, that means I have to stop learning. But what do you think? When did the learning starts? Is that like once you get graduate, after that the learning starts, or it is like just in the school time? What do you think? What would you like to tell to the people who have not yet started their self development journey? What would you like to tell them?
Yeah. So ideally, learning should never stop. you know. Even if till the time you die, learning continuously happens, whether you notice it or do not notice it, because a lot of things we learn informally as well. It's not like that
Mhm.
just you have to get into some course or something like that, but lot of things we are learning in general also on everyday basis. So ideally, it is an ongoing process. But if we do this process consciously, we learn few things consciously, as you mentioned about self development. See, what happens is when we try to go out in the world and try to change few things, try to change the system, try to change the community, the world, and a lot of other things. I think before that, we should really change ourselves. And to
Mm.
change ourselves, we should start working on ourselves, and that exactly is self development. And it is again an ongoing journey, ongoing learning that should continue. Because as I believe, name of my book is also the same thing: build the most exceptional you. I believe that everyone is born exceptional. Okay, no one is ordinary, but it's just that we have to explore that exceptional version of ours. And how does that happen? Constantly working on ourselves. So again, it's an ongoing journey. It's not like, within 2 months you will build your exceptional version, within 3 months or 3 years, nothing like that. Even I am still building. Of course, I will be doing it till the end of my life. So that's how it should be seen as. And a lot of people, think that they feel that the money spent on self development is like, they don't believe on that basically. But
Mhm.
if you ask me, in mid career specifically, I have seen, so they are ready to spend lakhs of rupees for their kids. Okay,
Correct.
they are not understanding one thing, that you want to have a secure life, you want to give a good life to your kids, maybe your parents, because they have raised you, and now you want to give that life to your kids and parents at this moment of your life. But if you will start, you will stop learning, and if you will stop developing yourself, do you think this income is going to be coming recurringly? No. So this is a question to ask, that you are okay to invest for your kids, but kids, kids, to pay the kids fee, where that source, that is basically your ability, your skill, it
Correct.
is you basically, and you are not basically working on this production capacity. You are just looking on the production, that you are looking at the kids fee and all that, and you are ready to give that fees to your kids. Because today, if you see, for kids, a lot of programs are there which are very costly. So people are okay for that. बट फॉर देम दे थिंक, मेरा तो सब हो गया, ग्रेजुएशन हो गया, अभी 15 साल का
Yeah,
एक्सपीरियंस हो गया, ये
yeah.
कोर्स भी कर लिया. So this is really thought for them, that do you think that you really want to stop growing at this moment, wherein I already showed you the statistics, that after this mid career stage only 5% will grow exponentially. Other people, maybe they level up or they will decline their graph. So they should be honest. First thing is we have to accept. A lot of people are not ready to accept. And even I was like that. So first accept it. There is a problem. See, if there would not have been a problem, you would have grown exponentially. So let's
Correct.
admit there's some problem and let's work on that. So be honest with yourself. What is happening with your life? You're not like earning very well, you are not able to grow, then somewhere something needs to be corrected. And for that you need some learning. Okay. So that's what I will tell to people.
Great. Now, what would you like to tell, especially when it comes to, is it okay to have a mentor in your life? Because who Megha was earlier, okay, maybe like she was ambitious and she completed her study and everything. Now she has to move to the next level. So, do
Yeah.
you also have a mentor? And if yes, like what is the role and why you need to have, why you should, one should have a mentor in life? What would you like to tell about, on this?
Yeah, good question. So I always, believed on gurus and teachers and mentors throughout my life. Whenever, since the time I was a child, I always, follow my teachers very religiously, whatever they used to tell. And I think that has always helped me to grow to the next level. I had mentors in my organization also. They have also helped me to become the person I am today. And of course, if I talk about the mentors outside, which I mentioned, Dev Gadvi, he's my mentor. And see, one word I have for mentor is, mentors are like catalyst, and you need catalyst in your life, because some things do not happen automatically. Those things,
Mhm.
some the specifically the mid career growth, It doesn't happen by fluke, as I mentioned, and it needs catalyst. So mentor is the catalyst for you, and that's what is mentor's role, to accelerate the process of growth. Okay, maybe you have to take efforts, you have to do all this hard work, but mentor's job is to accelerate the growth. Maybe you will be able to grow, maybe I would have been able to do this, but maybe after 4 years,
Yes.
right? So that speed I am getting from the mentor, because he has already been there, done that. So this is for that speed basically. Otherwise, I would have waited for 4 years, and then I would have realized, okay, maybe I want to do this in my life.
Great. Now we have come towards the end of this particular show for this episode. So last one or two question, like what is that one mistake you have done in your life you would like to advise to the audience not to do in that in their life? Maybe it can be a career related or maybe life related. What would that be?
Okay, mistake. Okay. Uh, I have always followed my heart, so I would not say, I've not never done any mistake in that aspect. But
Mhm.
one mistake, I would say, a regret of my life that I want the audience not to do. That is, I was not courageous at some
Mhm.
of the moments in my life, and I feel, you know, sometimes you need to demonstrate the courage. If you believe in something, sometimes I was courageous, but few things in my life where I was not courageous, I have regret for that. So if you don't want to regret, maybe when you are convinced on a particular thing, please go ahead and demonstrate some courage. Maybe worst what will happen, it will not work, but at least you will not regret that you couldn't
Mhm.
demonstrate the courage, and because of lack of courage you could not achieve it. So I have that regret in my life. I would not say it was a mistake, but a regret.
Great, great. And how can one reach out to you? Like, if somebody from the audience wants to need a help from you and they want to learn from you, like how they can get unstuck and build the exceptional you. So, how can they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I am like active on all social media platforms, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere I'm there. And also, I usually conduct my webinars. So mostly, I will
Mhm.
be conducting my webinars very soon. So maybe they can attend my webinars. The link is also there in my about section on LinkedIn. So through LinkedIn, of course, you can approach me. You can just DM me if you're interested to join my webinar, and that's how they can reach out to me.
Great. So thank you so much, Megha. Like it was a wonderful episode. I would say like a lot of things you were able to able to give the information towards the audience, and now it's time for them to implement or maybe at least think about that, like why they are going through some kind of a challenges in life, especially in the midlife crisis, and how they can get unstuck, and is there a possibilities so they know what to do. Like if there is a possibilities, who you need to reach out is you need to reach out to the mid-career possibilitarian coach, Megha. Okay, so thank you so much, Megha. So any last thoughts you would like to share it with our audience before we end this episode?
Yeah, so last word is, don't look for options because options are limited. Always try to see the possibilities beyond the obvious because possibilities are unlimited. Okay, and eventually you would be able to turn these possibilities into great opportunities.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, Ravi.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, Megha. So and also thank you so much for all the audience who actually was watching live to this episode. So we will meet you next time for the another episode. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.